Hey, this Porsche Tony here. In today's episode, going from an 8 ball all the way to a brick. I'm gonna tell you guys how I met the the cab driver connect. You understand what I'm saying? So one day, right? I'm going to a club. You know, I'm fresh to death and shit. You understand what I'm saying? You know, at that time, I was wearing I'm still wearing the Marys and shit like that, but. You know what I'm saying? I got my gators on and shit. I got, my polo and shit. I'm all cologne up and shit. I'm ready to go out. And I called the base and shit, in New York City, we transport, through the cab drivers and shit. We get to where we need to go, you know, through the cab drivers sometimes. So I called the Dominican base, right? And this dude, he pulls up, he's a big, they used to call him Gordo, In English, that means the fat one. So this dude pulls up, he barely could fit in the fucking cab. It was a Lincoln Town Car. His fucking stomach all the way out here and shit. But I look at his hands and shit. His fucking all his hands. He had a gold ring in each finger and shit. And I'm like, man, in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, who the fuck is this dude? This shit, man. The fuck he doing in the cab? You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Like in New York City, that's a lot of you'll meet a fucking plug and he driving a fucking cab and shit. You understand what I'm saying? He don't speak no fucking English and shit, and he driving a cab. He straight off the boat and shit. But he getting things in. You understand what I'm saying? That shit you drop in a pot, it come back more. You understand me? So I was talking to him and shit. You understand what I'm saying? And, we start talking. And he like, hey, where you from? And I tell him, where my family from and shit. And he like, yeah, man, I got family over there in Dominican Republic and shit. And I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, yeah, man. You understand what I'm saying? And we got to talking and shit. And next thing you know, we got real cool and shit. And I got his number and shit. So every time I need to go somewhere, you know what I'm saying? I'm calling him and shit. And next thing you know, he out of nowhere he tells me, man, hey Tony, man, I'm getting them things in through the mail. And I'm like, what? What you talking about? He's like, yeah, man, I'm getting them things in through the mail. And I'm like, what? Oh shit. And he's like, yeah, I'm getting them in at 20 a piece. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, we got somebody working at the FedEx office and shit. We got this Puerto Rican kid working in the FedEx office, and he tells her, he marks the package, every time, and we'll have somebody apartment. You know what I'm saying? We'll pay somebody to bring the package through and then to get it dropped off over there and shit. And he's like, man, Tony, listen, man, if you put $10,000 together, you understand what I'm saying? I'll front you the whole thing. You understand what I'm saying? Now you got to bring 20 back, but I'll front you the other half. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, shit, man, that shit sound like a plan to me. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? We got to do business and shit, and then next thing you know, his shit his shit start getting raided and shit. All the apartments they start getting raided and shit. You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, I hit the photo. I'm trying to cop some shit, and that motherfucker's gone and shit. You understand me?